In this I'm going to do now another example of the inverse. So let me just write that in yellow first. So here we go. So example 2. Okay. So this time, instead of calling it f of x, I'm going to call it g of x. Remember, it really doesn't matter what we call it. We just want to find the inverse function. So let's say I call something g of x, and the function this time is 5 minus 3x. Okay, 5 minus 3x. And the question says, find the inverse function. So if I write the inverse function, it's still going to start with g, but this time I'm going to put a little -1 on it. And that -1 means the inverse. So find the inverse function. So let's do that. So in order to find the inverse function, remember, step 1 is we have to write everything in terms of y and x. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write y, because that's just g of x, is equal to 5 minus 3x. Step 2 is where I switch x and y. So literally, all you're doing is rewriting the same thing, but whatever was x becomes y, and whatever was y becomes x. So let's write that down. So instead of y, I'm writing x. The numbers stay the same, so it's 5 minus 3, and this x now becomes y. And the final step is, with this new equation that we have over here, we're going to solve for y. So in order to solve for y, first I need to get rid of this constant. So I need to subtract 5 from both sides. So the first thing I do will be x minus 5 is equal to negative 3y. And then I have to divide by -3 on both sides. So if I divide by -3 on both sides, my final answer will be y is equal to x minus 5 divided by -3. And again, you might think that this is our last step, but no, no, no. I asked you to find g inverse of x. So your very last step will be, you're going to replace that y with g inverse of x. So g inverse of x is equal to simply x minus 5 divided by -3, and there we go. Okay, so again, to find the inverse function, first rewrite the original function in terms of x and y, and then switch x and y, solve for y, and after you've solved for y, replace that y with the inverse notation, which is g -1 of x in this case, and you're done. I'll see you in the next video.